In 2009, a young rapper named c-lite released his debut mixtape titled Sin Is Whack, which is about the most white boy Christian rapper thing to ever happen. He very quickly changed his stage name to his real name, Andy Mineo, and the rest is history. He rapped about Jesus while also being critical of himself and creating complex lyrics. Each album tried to push the envelope of what flaws Andy could expose in the world and himself.
For the benefit of other people, he'll fillet himself. He will put his insecurities out there. Really what he's doing is he's saying, I'm not perfect, and I'm willing to unveil the things that are uncomfortable for me for your benefit. And I'm growing, and I want you to grow with me.
His rise to fame culminated in 2015's Uncomfortable, his most self-critical album yet. But things changed when he returned. He released a collaborative mixtape in 2017 with his friend Wordsblade, and working on that project helped him balance what would be his darkest project yet, 2018's one, The Arrow. The Arrow is an atypical Andy Mineo project. It's a 6-song EP with I've Been, Clarity, Family Photo, Anxiety, I Ain't Done, and Lost meant to be played in that order. It's the result of Andy rebuilding himself and his faith. Instead of every song ending with Jesus as the simple, definitive answer, Andy made this album during a time when he was struggling in his faith. His doubt in his faith led to doubt in his music and himself.
It's like Andy the person and Andy the artist. And the artist is supposed to be an extension of the person. But oftentimes what can happen is the person can be an extension of the artist. The artist can become your primary identity. Who I was as an artist was becoming more so my identity than who I actually was.
When business is down, Apple is down. When streams are down, people are not rocking with Andy Mineo.
And this doubt was the result of a breakdown.
Oh, it was
I come home, she made breakfast for me, and I just was sitting at like the table eating, and I just started like crying. I didn't even know what was happening.
Went through depression in December 2016, the worst year I could remember. I was sitting down at breakfast with my wife, started weeping, tears falling down my face. I ain't even know the reason.
I remember reading like your body can get so stressed out that it needs a form of release, and like it'll just cry if it needs a way out, and you haven't processed it or dealt with it. Like your body will literally keep the score and release.
The reason started reading, learned it's my body's way of releasing stress that I've been carrying over the seasons.
A lot of people talk about their struggle when their struggle is over. You know, they talk about it in the past tense, like, oh, this happened, and now I'm fine. Because I wonder sometimes if it's because it makes them look good. But a lot of people don't open up when they're in the middle of it and share, because it makes you vulnerable. It makes you feel like weaker than everybody else, and that people would try to fix you.
So when Andy opens the EP talking about how he's been lost, it comes from an authentic place.
I've been lost.
You know, I get asked that question a lot. People be like, what are some of like the struggles you had, you know, on the come up? And a lot of times, man, it's just like, yo, things were going so good for so long. It felt like, you know, the momentum was just crazy.
The second song, Clarity, is where Andy really digs into his issues. The first verse is full of intricate wordplay, but it doesn't call attention to itself because of his use of monotone.
Under fire, now somebody's getting fired, terrified, paralyzed, Twitter game, verified, married life, verified, understand, I'm on demand, son of man, a son of Sam,
The chorus is Andy calling himself a fraud.
All I want is clarity, clarity, 'cause all of my heroes are frauds, just like me.
And when the drums kick in, Andy shows his doubt in the teachings that he grew up with.
Yeah, built my life on this. Half my adult life unlearning lies that I heard in a dumb sermon. What I unearthed got me uncertain.
He ends the song with a quote from Madeline L'Engle, saying that God is the answer, but he won't fix everything right away. It's okay to have doubts in our faith because it's an opportunity to grow. Our struggle isn't over just because we want it to be.
That cosmic affirmation of, yes, I know it's terrible, I know it hurts, but be patient, it's going to work out. I'm not going to lose, I'm going to win. It's all right. And that's the basic affirmation that I think only true doubters can come to.
Andy follows Clarity with an even harder hitting song, Family Photo. Here he addresses his relationship with his father, which he has touched on in previous albums, but he does so in the context of one of the most important days of his life, his wedding. His father didn't show up, and his absence completely changed that day.
And I never really got to the anger part of how I felt because it was too vulnerable about the whole thing. So I just kept it very melancholy. It's easy to say, like, very matter of fact. Yeah, no, this is what happened.
Looked Chris in the face and said, nothing's gonna ruin our day. I hate the fact I still love you. I wish that I could turn it off, take the cord to my heart and just unplug you.
Instead of being like, yo, I'm angry about this.
Yeah. I looked Chris in the face and told her nothing's gonna ruin our day. I hate the fact I still love you. I wish that I could turn you off, take the cord to my heart and just unplug you. Damn, man, you my dad, what I did to you to make you not love me mean what I should to you.
Next is Anxiety, which is Andy's attempt at recreating artistically what his anxiety felt like. He tried it a few different ways,
Even in my bed, there's no rest.
but ultimately, it's the dark night of the soul before his next song, I Ain't Done.
I made the I Ain't Done beat when I was in a tour bus. I was on this tour, and I was going through one of the darkest seasons mentally that I've ever gone through.
I was feeling like my career was done. I was feeling like I was washed up. See, I got on that bus and I said, I'm gonna make this song just for me and I don't care if nobody like it. And I ain't had no producers out on the road with me, so I said, yo, I'm not gonna wait on nobody. I'm gonna make this beat myself.
And this idea of I'm not done came up in my mind. Like that was just kind of like an inner monologue that I had. Like, as long as you're alive, you still have opportunity to change. I didn't consider myself at that time like a producer. Like, I could just do the whole track, drums, vocals, everything. So I was like, Ty Shane, you got the best drums I've ever heard in my life. Would you come and put these drums on here and touch it? And so he came through, he did his thing to it. And I remember just being like, yo, this is crazy. And I remember showing it to like everybody. And I would just play the A version and the B version. And the A version was my version, the B version was Ty Shane's. And I played it, and I was like, yo, which one y'all like better? I was like, because Ty Shane's is technically better. The sounds are better. The drums are hitting harder. Like, it's a technically superior. And after listening, like, everyone in the room was like, yo, yours just feels better.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Nah, dude, his drums are way iller than mine. And they were like, yo, from like a technical trap standpoint, yeah, but there's something about the grittiness and the crappiness of your drums that people were responding to better. And I was like, whoa. It was hard for me to like even agree with
That's
that.
when I had this little melody idea and it came to my mind, so I recorded it with my voice. And that's when I took that little recording of my voice and I put the distortion pedal on it, and I made it sound crazy, and I made it sound just like this. Like this.
What makes this EP great is the conclusion. Lost is a continuation of I've Been, Lost, and it even uses the same beat. But where I've Been doesn't have a chorus, Lost does, and it completes the melody of the first song.
When I get above those sounds,
What really elevates this EP is that each song is stronger as part of the EP than it would be as a single. I Ain't Done is kinda like You Can't Stop Me, Andy's only gold-selling record, which does work as a single. But the difference is that I Ain't Done is so much more powerful with the context of I've Been, Clarity, Family Photo, and Anxiety. And Lost can't work alone, because it's the second part of I've Been, and it answers the questions posed in Clarity.
Can't tell if my mind, I just made it. My faith, I misplaced it. My pain, I upgraded. Lost my happy thought, then I got jaded. I don't think I lost my mind. I think I made it. Ay. I don't think I lost my faith. I misplaced it. And I don't think I lost my pain. I upgraded.
This EP is the first work from a reconstructed Andy, and hopefully there'll be many more to come.
Yo, I got it. I think I got the cover idea for the first EP. I had this moment where I was on a plane
We was at LGA, was getting ready to take off, and it just looked gloomy and dark, like thunder, lightning. I didn't even think we was gonna take off. Anyways, we started to take off. The pilot was like, you know, brace yourself, there's gonna be some turbulence. And we started going through the cloud and everything was shaking. And I thought we was gonna die. But when we got through the clouds, it looked like California. It was like sunny and bright and beautiful. It's like I almost have forgotten for a second that the sun like even existed. And I had this moment where I was like, yo, the sun is still here. Like it was here the whole time, I just couldn't see it. And I don't know, it just spoke to me. So the thought I had was, why don't we take one of the elements, take the arrow and have it going through a cloud so that half the arrow is above the cloud, half the arrow is below the cloud. I don't know, I think it's a dope idea. Hit me back. Sorry.